Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. There are two groups of people who will be watching this. One where that celebration time, that midnight area, the demarcation between years happens, and the other group where it has happened or has not happened. You are in two separate areas, you might say, of pre and post midnight. But you have something in common. The ones who have not yet experienced it are looking forward to celebration. The ones who have experienced it are saying, wow, that was a great celebration. Let's talk about the celebration first. It's probably going to be a big one this year, the end of this year, beginning of next year. And part of it, and you should hold up signs that say, I am so glad 2025 is gone. That's the celebration. And you're right. Let's talk about the year that was. Tomorrow I will be giving just a little bit of energy toward the potentials that you have given toward that which is 2026. But right now, I would like to talk about, again, just like I did, and I have been doing this entire month, about what has been happening to you this year. Now, I'm making an assumption that there are light workers listening to this, old souls, those in a maturity, awakening, to know what we discuss when we speak about an old energy earth, or an ascended energy that may be coming your way in a while. That you have perhaps paid attention to some of the things that I have told you in the past about what would happen in this shift, in this time. The actual timing of the shift is known, and it has you ending the shift at approximately 2030. You can see that you are close right now to the ending of this time. Now, in these time frames, especially the ones that are given in astronomy, they are averaged, you might say, because it takes a very long time to move in and out of specific alignments. So we may say that the shift happened from a certain point to a certain point and give those years. But there's a flexibility in that astronomy accounts for. You are closer right now to the end of the shift than you think, because the shift starts to wind down very shortly from now. You might say that 2025 might have been the last year of massive change, at least in the kind of change that disturbed you. You have to look at the numerology. There is a reason, dear ones, for the numbers, even of the years. There's no accident here that the years would be numbers a certain way, the way they are. And then you extrapolate the various meanings in numerology in those years. And there are many systems of meanings. But in general, and what we have talked about before, the year 2025 represented completion. It is a 9 when you add up the numbers of the year. Completion sometimes can mean a good thing, depending upon your experience of the year, and sometimes a negative thing, again, depending upon what is ending for you. Is it a good time that's ending? Feel sad. Or is it a difficult time that it's ending? Let's celebrate. This 9 year that you have been in, indeed, is the completion of the chaos. It is the beginning, you might say, of the completion of the chaos. It will spill over, of course, into next year. It is a human being that decided that everything changes in an hour. And you toast your glasses and say, from now on, there will be this. And from now on, I will do this and that. It's a resolution I have. And then everything will turn around in an hour and you face a new year. This is the linearity of humanism. You know it's not that way. But the perception and the reality of it is that way. You might actually be sending a message in this linearity to the universe that says, I am so glad this year is over. And the next year is going to be something different. Let's leave all of this behind us, you might say. So what is that this year has brought to you that is different? Not everyone is the same. But the energy of this year, this 2025, was one that was expected, that I told you about, and that would be difficult. Difficult because reality is starting to shift. Reality is the most comfortable thing a human being has. And the shift in this year was really quite startling. Whatever category you wish to name, whatever part of life you wish to name or identify, this year was difficult for it. And in this year, some of you may have said, what's going on that so many things can happen at the same time that would make me anxious? Some of you actually had multiple input of change. Just when you were starting to realize that something was happening perhaps with your job or that with your relationship, at the same time that was happening, there might have been a health issue also strike. In other words, it was more than difficult for some of you. It's almost like the dark energy is saying, take this, take that, or how do you deal with this, or can you deal with this as well? Some of you had things happen this year that have never happened to you before. And you've been alive a long time. And those who have this, you will say, what is going on? In the channel that I've given many times, I told you of a phenomenon. And I keep telling you, because it's the one that I want you to really cognize. That when things start to shift on this planet, and it starts to shift toward more light or more awakening, that the metaphor is always the same. That when this kind of awakening begins and the human being is more aware, that means an entire group of humanity is going to look in a more aware state and see the dirt that is there because the light is brighter. That's a metaphor. All it means is you're going to see those things you never saw before, which are dark and negative and awful, and you're going to see them right in your backyard. Some of you are seeing them at home. Some of you are having it brought to your body in certain ways, and you're awakening to perhaps who you were or who you are, or starting a turnaround in life. Some of you have been pushed into things you didn't want to do this year. It is a massive year of shift and change. What subject do you want to tackle? Health, politics, war, all of the kinds of things. Race relations, it doesn't matter. Choose one. This year was difficult. Not just difficult, but the kinds of things that happened this year had overreactions to them, all of them. The reason for that, dear ones, is because there are so many of you awakening that know better. It's not like it used to be. When something is wrong and you see it's wrong or you expose as greed, in the past there was a mention of it. There was somebody who would make a meeting of it, and they would say something like, this is never going to happen again. And of course, then it was covered up, and then it happened again. This year is different. This year there is an awakening like, stop it. This is not right. And if you don't stop it, you will see that there will be differences for you. You have a choice all over the planet to decide who you're going to elect the next time to run your countries when it happens the next time. I'm not speaking of America. I'm speaking of the world. How does it feel? Who's in charge? Do they represent an older energy and you now see it as an older energy? And if that's the case, would you consider the next time looking for and demanding younger leaders? Because, dear ones, they are so more aware of what is going on this planet. They're the ones that are going to lead you to peace, not the old guard, dear ones. How many of you are beginning to see that? This is an end of an old time. This 9-year, it's a wrap-up that so many of you are now recognizing as difficult, not just difficult, but may change the way you think. How many of you are realizing that light is winning? And the answer is probably not enough, because most humanity sees difficulty as negative and dark. And you would say, what's happening to this planet? Look at all the horror here. Not realizing that the whole planet is looking at things differently today. What is all this dirt and ugly stuff? What's all this greed suddenly that I'm seeing everywhere? Where everyone has their hand out asking for something. And you can't tell whether they're asking or whether they're true or whether they're honest or whether they're not. Who is out to trick me next, you might say. That is the end of a very old concept that has always been there and you just didn't see it. Now you are. You might even say that AI comes along and tests you. What's real? What's not real? What can I do? What I should do? Where is the next kind of thing that I need to know about that nobody's told me? I'll tell you right now that this particular 2025 has surprised a lot of you. And the celebration that you are having or had or about to have, depending upon where you are on the planet, is deserved. This 2025 will slop into 2026. It doesn't have a demarcation point of light and dark. So there will be remnants of 2025 for some months. But you're going to start feeling something that is a turnaround, because 2026 is a 1. In most systems, the 1 or the 10 is a new beginning. We'll talk about that tomorrow. A new beginning is that which would then replace the end of something. This is a very, very, you will say, recognizable sequence from 9 to 1. And when it happens, it means the end of the old and the beginning of the new. And it doesn't happen every year, dear ones. It's happening now. Kryon, what is the summary? What are you saying to us? I'm saying to you that this particular year and the number of this year was accurate. This was the end of certain things, certain kinds of changes and being pushed around in certain ways, so that by the time you get to the place where that is not any longer happening, it'll be more settled for you. Some of you will realize that 2025 pushed you in places you didn't want to go, but now make sense in 2026. You'll see. It's been difficult for many. There's been grief for many, sorrow for many. Dear ones, this 9-year is slipping away, being replaced by the hope of the 1. The 1 year, the beginning. It's more than hope. What you project in front of you is the reality that will come forward. This is, and always has been, the law of attraction and the way it works with mass consciousness. What are you expecting? Truly, what are you expecting? So here is what I want to tell you. Based on everything I have given you in this end of the year channeling, knowing that your consciousness can bring about realities, which one are you? Are you the one that takes and says, the world is going to a dark place and I can feel it slipping away. It's not like it used to be. It's not like it was when I was younger. Therefore, it's going to get worse. Or are you the one that says, I have watched what Kryon predicted would take place. I've watched the light start to come out and everything around us looks horrible. Worse than it ever has in my life. And now I can see it where I didn't before. And therefore, so many of us have a choice to do something about it and spread the light into a brand new time for us, starting next year. One of you will pull the earth backwards and the other one will propel it forward. Which one are you? If you are the one that says the earth is doomed and you can't talk me out of it, I would ask a favor, keep it to yourself. Because there are so many who know better now and are realizing what I have predicted for so long on this planet. The changes are here. And you are magnificent, all of you, to have walked through these, who have decided to be born at this time. See this, benevolence is coming slowly with the inventions that I've talked about in previous channels. And all of these things slowly are going to start to improve this planet. That's an end of the year channel. Tomorrow, more like a beginning of the year channel. For tomorrow, for you, for humanity, the calendar switches and new energy is here. And I'll match that with you and be linear for a little while. Blessed is the humanity who understands that what you're seeing in front of you is the last gasp, you might say, of an old world. An old energy for centuries that is now starting to change. And you are right in the middle of it. And you ask to be here because you are the ones who will make the difference. I'm crying in love with you, with all of you, with humanity for what you're going through. And so it is.